video just released today showing a shooting that left an off-duty Chicago police officer hurt. This shooting happening back on August 3rd in the 4800 block of South Bishop Street. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability, COPA, says the officer was pulling into a garage when three men get out of a separate car. They then opened fire as that garage door closes. Investigators say the officer fired back. He wasn't hit by gunfire, did suffer a minor injury. No one's in custody in this case.
But here's where things don't add up. The first news report described the officer as a man, but later it was confirmed she was a woman. And that kind of contradiction is not just a small mistake. It immediately raises red flags because official reports are supposed to be precise. And then we look at the so-called reward. Only $1,000 offered for suspects who opened fire on a police officer. Now think about that. When an officer is targeted, authorities usually flood resources into the case. Large cash rewards, urgent manhunts, press conferences. Yet here it feels minimized, as if someone wants this case to quietly disappear. That contradiction and that unusually low reward tell us something bigger is going on beneath the surface.
Crime Stoppers now offering a $1,000 reward for the arrest of 4 gunmen involved in a shootout with an off-duty Chicago police officer. That's the moment 4 people drove down an alley near 48th and Bishop in a white sedan on August 3rd. The masked suspects then opened fire on the off-duty officer. After an exchange of gunfire, the officer called 911.
911, I'm an off-duty officer. They shot at me. I shot back. They're in a white sedan, 4-door, multiple heads.
The officer wasn't shot, only injured by broken glass. The white sedan was later found burned near 46th and Winchester. COPA is investigating. Crime Stoppers offering that cash reward of $1,000 for any information that leads to the arrest of those suspects.
Now let's look closer. These suspects didn't just stumble across the officer by chance. They knew exactly where she lived and exactly when she would be pulling into that garage. They drove past the alley once, backed up, then came speeding through with precision, timing their attack as the garage door was closing. That is not random, that is coordinated. And here's another strange detail. The getaway car wasn't simply abandoned like most street criminals would do. It was burned completely. That's the kind of move you see in professional hits to erase evidence, not in everyday gang shootings. Then notice the way they moved when they got out. One pressed tight against the wall, another provided cover from behind, and they all kept distance like men trained in tactics. Those are not sloppy moves of reckless thugs. Those are controlled actions of people who know exactly what they're doing. So the question becomes, who would go to such lengths, with such precision, and then have the resources to torch the car afterward? Watch closely as the white sedan first appears at the top left of the screen. They drive past slowly, then back up. That's not random. That's deliberate positioning. Now see how they speed into the alley just as the garage door is closing. One suspect jumps out. Look at his hand. Look at the grip. That's steady, controlled, like someone trained. Notice the way they move. One hugs the wall for cover. Another provides backup from behind, and a third advances in a tactical stance. Those are coordinated movements, not the sloppy rush of street thugs. Freeze the moment the officer fires back through the garage. You can see the muzzle flash and broken glass. That officer already knew trouble was coming. Then watch how the suspects retreat, backing up slowly, covering each other before all sliding back into the car. That's precision. That's training. And then the final detail. The license plate blurred from the footage. Why would that be hidden? When the same car was later found burned. That's not a gang hit. That's an organized operation. This isn't the first time something like this has happened in Chicago. Earlier this year, an officer was accidentally shot by her own partner during a chase, but on the way to the hospital, the squad car she was riding in mysteriously burst into flames. Many people believe that was no accident. Last year, there were reports of whistleblower officers who tried to expose corruption inside the department. and then either disappeared or died under suspicious circumstances. There have even been long-standing claims that some so-called drive-by shootings in Chicago are not done by kids in gangs at all, but by organized masked squads who move with military-style precision. So when you see this ambush, the burned car, the blurred license plate, and the tactical movements, it fits into a disturbing pattern that suggests something deeper is operating beneath the surface. When you put all these pieces together, it starts to look less like a random drive-by and more like a carefully planned mission. These men knew exactly when and where to strike. They moved with training. They erased the getaway car, and the reward for their capture is suspiciously low. So the question becomes, was this a genuine street crime? Or was it an organized hit meant to silence or intimidate someone inside the department? Was it an inside job where people with badges used tactics they've been trained to use? Or is there a larger cover-up at play to protect whoever was behind it? Chicago has a history of cases like this being buried or misdirected to gang violence. But what do you think after seeing the footage? Does this feel like a random attack or something much deeper? Do you think this was just another Chicago shooting, or does it look more like a calculated hit? Do those movements remind you of street criminals or trained officers? Why would the reward be only $1,000 if a cop was nearly executed? Who do you believe these men really were? And most importantly, do you think the public is being told the full truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments because your perspective matters. If you believe stories like this deserve more eyes, don't just watch. Be part of exposing the truth by hitting subscribe and sharing this video. The more we grow, the harder it becomes for hidden things to stay buried. You're watching the Untold Crime Chronicles, where we dig beyond headlines to reveal what others try to cover up. And as the scripture says, "For nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, nor anything secret that will not come to light." Stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next story.